Alright guys, I'm going to explain how the seal for the slide out works very briefly. It's a very complicated part of the build. It took quite a bit of time in and of itself, but it's really important. Here in Saskatchewan, we get minus 40 in the winters and strong gusts of wind. And if you just have two plates of wood that go together like that to seal the house, even if you get what appears to be a relatively perfect seal, you're going to get wind finding a way through because of the high amount of wind and energy that comes through, and it will find its way in and get cold inside. So we built this kind of complicated seal mechanism. Let's show you how it works. Now guys, I'm going to show you how the slide out seal actually works here. This section being attached to the main house and this section being attached to the slide out itself. This is the outside over here. And so wind, which has a high velocity, would enter through here and have to go through this very tight section of the seal and then take a 90-degree turn where it would enter the central cavity. Then it would have to go through this fairly tight seal, take a 90-degree turn where it enters the house. Now on the actual slide out seal, we also added an extra block here that is a little bit shorter. It's like 1/2 inch rather than 3/4 inch. And it's very tight up against this. And there's another one in this cavity here. So what that means is that wind has to actually go around that seal. So that's one 90-degree turn, and then a second 90-degree turn, and then a third 90-degree turn where it enters the central cavity. And then there's a 90-degree turn here, 90-degree turn where the second block that we don't have right here on this demonstration, second 90-degree turn, and then a third 90-degree turn to enter the house, making 6 90-degree turns and several very tight passages where the wind has to go through. So the theory is that even though this isn't a rubber seal that creates a perfect, match everywhere, it's relatively tight, and the amount of turns that the wind has to go through slows its velocity, and so reduces the speed at which it's able to enter the house effectively. All right guys, now you might be asking, like, well, Liam, how accurate is this mechanism? And the wheels you're riding on and stuff are probably not perfect. Aren't you going to hit the ends of these pieces and then break the mechanism by having them jam, right? Well, this is exactly what we thought of, and so all of the surfaces that hit another piece, we rounded them off using a router, and you may be able to see that in certain parts of the build, but they're all rounded off, so effectively if they don't quite meet perfectly, like this section would be rounded and this section would be rounded, they meet each other at like a 45-degree angle, and so they move and they click into place. That's how that works. Now guys, how did we assemble these giant frames that we built on the ground? I think we actually have some pictures and we can show you how big it is that we built in the garage on site. These frames were 16 feet long by 8 feet wide, and they're relatively heavy. And we built them on the ground for higher accuracy because these interlocking frames needed to work, and we tested them and test fit them all on the ground. They can't just be thrown up framing style during construction. At least I didn't think so. So we built them on the ground, and then how did we get them up? What we did is that we brought them on assembly day where we were going to put all these pieces up. We brought all the frames out by the truck, and then we built frames that were at creating a perfect right angle, and that would provide a flat surface and a support for the frames as we put them up. Then what we did is, imagine the truck is sitting here, and we have the frame sitting on the truck like this. We placed a thrust block right here so that it can't move inward. It's screwed to the truck, so the only way it can move is on an angle or outward. And then we placed ratchet straps to the other side of the truck, in both cases, to the end of the angle brace. And we tightened the ratchet straps in several stages, and that pulled the frame up. There was a couple of hiccups in the process, but overall it worked astoundingly well like we predicted. And then as soon as the center of gravity moves beyond the center of rotation, it just fell into place like that, and we screwed those down, and we did the other side. So we did that twice. We did on both sides, and there was the other side, right? Thrust block. The other wall was already up, and we tightened the straps, pulled it up like that, and then it just fell into place. Very safe. There was no risk of anyone being squished in the process, and a slow and controlled movement because, like we say, there was binding in a couple spots where we had to pry up on the piece, and so this kept everything safe and kept it really slow and gentle.
Blacking out, frets fading day by day. I'm reaching out for someone who can take away the pain I feel, the things I haven't done at all. I've lost my way, but how I felt I can't recall. Do I wanna try? Can I let it go? Running from the past, wanting to be sure. Chaos in my mind, constant deja vu. But every time, it comes back to you.